All right. Happy Wednesday, beautiful people. I hope that you guys have been having a great day so far. As always, that is my wish for you. I didn't do a reading on here today. I did it on YouTube, so definitely go and check that out. Click the YouTube button in my bio and go and watch that. It was a really, really good reading today. Like, super good. Spirit was talking about the harvest season and stepping into this new space, this new area of your life. So definitely go check that out. But today I wanted to open the floor up and do a panel. Y'all know I try to do a panel each week. Sometimes Spirit just don't be leading me to do so. And y'all know I go with the flow. I'm not trying to control nothing. Okay. But today, specifically, I wanted to tap in regards to spirituality and religion. I know that a lot of us come from religious backgrounds, and some people may still be in religion, and a lot of people don't understand the similarities and the shared experiences and shared beliefs that go into both. And I want to kind of shine some light on that. I also want to touch on why we are moving from a more religious foundation to a more spiritual foundation, because a lot of people may not necessarily understand what's going on or why it is changing the way that it's changing, but it all has purpose. Okay, so I want to start off by saying religion is falling. And the reason why religion is falling is because we are in a space now where we are moving out of the age of Pisces. If you know anything about the ages, right? We are currently in the age of Aquarius. We were previously in the age of Pisces. And Pisces is all about, on the positive end, it's about spirituality. It is about intuition. It is about, dreaming or imagination. Pisces is one of the most intuitive signs of the zodiac, right? But on a more, I don't want to say a negative end, but on the opposite end, it also represents illusions. Okay, and that kind of explains why we were where we were when we were in that age, right? The entirety of the age of Pisces, and that's why Jesus is represented as the fish, right? Specifically for Christianity, but we're talking about all religions. But specifically for Christianity, that's why Jesus was represented as the fish. That's why you heard a lot about fish in the Bible, because we were in the age of Pisces, right? Pisces is represented as the fish, right? But it was all about illusions, right? The illusion of going to God or the source, the illusion of our belief systems and our foundation, right? It was all an illusion. And this can sometimes be a touchy subject, because I know, again, a lot of us were raised either Christian, or some people were raised Muslim, or some people were raised with some type of religious foundation. And even though we found spirituality, and I'm not gonna say we found it, but even though we were awakened to spirituality, or reawakened or reintroduced to it, it doesn't necessarily mean the people in our space will be. Okay, and that can kind of be a hard pill to swallow, because when we wake up, the first thing we want to do is tell everybody about it. The first thing we want to do is educate all the people around us, right? You're coming into this knowledge, you're coming into this understanding of self and the world around you, and the first thing you want to do is go and tell people about it. Like, hey, did you know that religion is this and this and that, and did you know the truth behind this and that? And a lot of people are just not in a space, and will honestly never be in a space, to receive what you have and what you think you have for them. Okay? And I've told, I've given my story about, me moving into spirituality, coming from a very Christian based background. And it wasn't easy. A lot of them will call us witches and warlocks and say that we, you know, fucking with demons. And I mean, they just be making up all types of shit. You'll hear, honestly, when you make that conversion from religion to spirituality, you will hear how people really feel about you sometimes, because they'll just use that as an opportunity to just talk all of the shit. I mean, things that you like, I didn't even fucking know that you felt like that, or I didn't even know that we would get to a point where you would ever talk to me like this. Not only that, but this can be a very lonely process because of the fact that most of our family and the people that we're used to being around are more religious based, right? So it can put us in this energy where we feel by ourselves, where we start to question ourselves as well. You know, there was a lot of questioning of myself that I did, you know, when it came to my spirituality and my, you know, relationship with spirit, because of how it was being received. Like, you know, especially in the beginning stages, you know, you really don't know as much as you know now, because I'm not gonna say it's new, but you're being reawakened to information that you lost, right? And because of this realm, we come into this realm because this realm is a very low vibration. When I say this realm, I mean earth. Because it is a very low vibration, when we come here, we have to forget. We got to forget a lot about who we are. We got to forget a lot about the spiritual realm that we just came from. You know, we forget a lot of things. And the goal is to eventually get to a space where you have the opportunity to be reintroduced to those things, or go through what we call an awakening, right? Now, if anything is awakened, it means that it was sleep before. Because you can't be awakened if you weren't asleep, right? So we have to enter this realm sleep when it comes to certain things, so that we can go through the process of awakening, or finding ourselves again, or being reintroduced to who we truly are, right? And that's a difficult process. You know, a lot of it is shadow work. A lot of it is, you know, spending time by yourself, going into what we call hermit mode, where you are alone a lot, okay? You know, in the beginning, you start off being alone because you're forced to be alone, because you no longer resonate with the people and the things around you. You know, for me specifically, being a PK, being a preacher's grandchild, and now a preacher's daughter, it was very, very lonely, because, you know, my family, like I tell you all the time, my mother told me, you over there conjuring up demons. I said, girl, what is you talking about? Now, why the hell do you think that I would purposely be over here playing around with demons? And demons, not even in the sense of what the word actually means, because demon means spirit, okay? So it doesn't mean anything negative if we're looking into the etymology of the word demon. But based on religion, how they made us think of demon, I'm like, why would you think that I would be over here playing with malicious spirits or negative spirits? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Why would I volunteer to do that? Okay. Not only that, you know, I was called witch. My family was, you know, going around calling me a witch. They were, you know, saying that I was, again, messing with malicious spirits, demonic spirits. I mean, all types of things, like the craziest shit. Or they would try to spin it and be malicious within themselves and say things like, oh, since you over there talking to the spirits and all this shit, tell them to give me the lottery numbers. And I'll be like, first of all, if you thought that if I was really over here getting the lottery numbers, number one, you think I would share it? That's number one. Okay? That alone don't even make no goddamn sense. I wouldn't give it to you. I would go play it for myself and benefit for myself. But secondly, you know, the disrespect of it all was just like, okay, you trying to be funny. Because for real, if you was connecting to whatever spirit you say is real, why do you need me to give you the lottery numbers? You should be able to ask your own, God or whoever, deity, for whatever information you feel like you need, instead of coming over here trying to play in my face, right? So it was very hard and difficult, and it is very hard and difficult in the beginning when you come from those backgrounds and you start to get deeper into your spiritual journey. Now, there are a lot of commonalities when it comes to religion and spirituality, because when you start to do your research and you start to look into things and you start to investigate for yourself, you understand that all religions stem from black, melanated spirituality. There is no religion on this planet that is not modeled after something spiritual. It just is what it is. And people don't like to acknowledge that, but it's the fucking facts. If you think about an altar, especially when it comes to Christianity, they call it the altar. In the front of the church, they call it the altar. Right? What is that altar for? Usually that will be where they serve communion, or they'll have a Bible on there or something, or it may just be an open space, but they call it altar, right? Or they'll say, come to the altar for altar call, where you come to the front of the church or wherever, their altar is, and they'll do prayer and whatever, right? That's one similarity. Then you have holy oils, right? Or blessing oils in church, where they take that oil and put it on your third eye chakra. All right, they put the cross on your third eye chakra. Now that within itself is a ritual. I want y'all to know that. Okay, putting the cross, which symbolizes death, on your third eye chakra is a ritual. Right? Even like my grandmother used to add essential oils to her oil, right? Before she would use it to bless people with. Now, if we go to the etymology of bless, it means to sprinkle blood. So they would use that oil. She'll put her little essential oils in it, frankincense, myrrh, whatever other oil she want to use. Those were usually the two main ones, because those were the ones that was listed in the Bible, right? And she would put it inside that oil, and then she would pray over it. And then she would use it to either anoint people, or she would put it in these small little vials and give them out in church so that people can have their own anointing oil. And I used to be like, I never really understood, growing up as a child, why she would put those essential oils and things into that oil. It didn't make sense to me as a child. But then when you get into spirituality, you understand that that's something that we've always been doing, right? That's why you have a money oil, or a love oil, or a prosperity oil, or a healing oil, or whatever, right? And depending on what you're using that oil for, there are specific ingredients that you will put into that oil in order to make it do whatever you want it to do. Not only would you put those, different ingredients into the oil, but you will also not necessarily pray over it, right? Because prayer is a religious thing. Spiritual people don't necessarily pray. We communicate with spirit, right? Because prayer is a religious thing. Spiritual people don't necessarily pray. We communicate with spirit, right? Okay. People calling me and shit. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. People calling me and shit. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. So again, we don't pray, we communicate with spirit, we have a relationship with spirit. And when we say spirit, right, Christians will say God or Jesus, and we say God too, or we say spirit, or we say ancestors. It's all the same thing, right? The understanding that we have as spiritual people is we understand that all energy is God. God is nothing more than a source of energy. It is energy, it is essence. That is all that God is. God is not a person. God is not a male or a female, right? God is just pure energy. So a lot of times, a lot of people will say, oh, you're spiritual, so that means you don't believe in God. And it's like, I believe in God, but not in the way that you believe in it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that God is a person that's sitting in the clouds, looking down and shit. Like, no. God is a source of energy that we all have within ourselves and that we can communicate with. So that energy shows up in a lot of different ways. It can be the wind. It's in all of the 4 elements. So that would be air, water, fire, and earth. God is in all of those things, right? God is in everything that is living. So that's trees, that's grass, that's a roach, that's an ant, that's you, me, that's birds, that's caterpillars, butterflies, dragonflies, all of the things, right? God is in all of those things, right? Anything with the essence of life has God in it. If we're talking about God as an energy, right? That's another misconception. Oh, spiritual people don't believe in God. It's like, no, we just don't believe in a religious God. Meaning, again, our God is not personified in a person sitting in the clouds. That's just, we are so far above that. That is a minuscule low vibrational type of thought. That confines what we would call the source of God if you're going to say it's just a person sitting in the clouds. Like, that makes it so much smaller than what it actually is, right? Another commonality from religion and spirituality, and the reason why I'm showing you guys the similarities is because I want you to be more comfortable in your spirituality and understanding that what you do and what you practice is the original and everything else was copied from that, right? So if we look in specifically Christianity, and then also I think it's in the text that Muslims read, right? Because I think the only difference between Christianity and Islam or Muslims is the fact that they don't believe that Jesus was the final prophet. They believe it was Muhammad, if I'm not mistaken. So the Quran, the story of Jesus is still the same, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you still have the 12 disciples. Well, the 12 disciples are representations of the zodiacs, right? Jesus being Pisces. Well, Jesus is Pisces, but then you have the 12 disciples, which is basically the 12 zodiacs. So this is why, when Jesus was being born, they had the 3 wise men to follow the stars. Okay? All that whole book, honestly, is astrology, if you know how to break it down. It's all astrology. Okay? And astrology is the most original form of spirituality to an extent, right? Because our ancestors understood that the planets and the energy of the planets had an effect on us while we were in this realm. Now, mind you, all of this is based on us being here in this physical realm. When you leave this realm, the moon and the stars don't matter. It just don't. Mercury and Jupiter has no relevance over you. That's all based on this physical realm. And we had to have structures and different things in this physical realm to help us basically escape this motherfucker and never come back. Because the goal is to leave here and not come back. But they, manipulated the moon. They manipulated the astrological energies, and they manipulated us with the food and the air and the water, and they poisoned a lot of the things that we need as physical beings to survive, to distract us from escaping here. So this is when we get into reincarnation. We are not supposed to reincarnate. We're not supposed to reincarnate. We're supposed to leave here and not come back, not return. But a lot of people reincarnate because they didn't learn their lessons. So when we're talking about learning the lessons, what that means is you basically didn't wake up. And because you didn't wake up, you didn't grasp the information that you needed to. You didn't get the knowledge that you needed to in order to live your life on a certain frequency so that you can escape, right? Through death, right? Because we know that death and rebirth is the same thing. It's the same thing. Nothing dies. Energy cannot die. We understand that, right? It can only reinvent itself or transform into something different. That's it. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't decimate. Energy is energy from day one. So we understand as energies that when we pass away or when we leave this realm, this life, we wake up on the other side. We transition back into spirit, leaving the body behind. So this body is only a vessel, right? And that's where you get the story of in the Bible when Jesus died at the end, and they went to the tomb and couldn't find his body, right? Because he went to the spiritual realm. That's basically what they're trying to tell you, right? Of course, we know that the body gets left behind. There's nobody who has left this motherfucker and took the body with them. It's not possible. Because the body cannot exist beyond this realm. It's no purpose to have a physical body beyond this realm. Right? And anything physical is a low vibration. Right? 3D, 2D, all of that, lower vibrations. The higher in dimension you get, the less physical it is. Okay? So there's no such thing as somebody passing away and taking their body with them, because it wouldn't serve a purpose. Why would Jesus need to go to heaven with the body? Nobody else up there got a body. It doesn't make sense, right? But that was a part of the illusion. They needed him to be a spectacle in a certain type of way in order to gain the belief of people who were on a frequency where they were able to be manipulated by that information. Okay? So, again, our goal is to accumulate whatever knowledge we need, to gain whatever knowledge we need, right? To fulfill whatever our life purpose is, to align with whatever our destiny is, in order to, when we do leave this realm, we can continue on. We know enough that when we get back to the spiritual realm, we don't fall for the trap and come back here. Reincarnation is not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. Okay? So because of that, because the time has changed and we've moved out of the age of Pisces and then we're in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about knowledge and information. Facts. Okay? Aquarius don't have nothing to do with, I just feel this way and my feelings and I wish upon a star. Aquarius don't got nothing to do with that. Aquarius is like, show me the proof. Show me the facts. This is why you see when we get into or when we reawaken to spirituality, the first thing we start to do is research. I need to find the facts. Right? Our ancestors knew, because they were educated on what was going on, right? They knew to write these things down. They knew to record them so that it can be passed down throughout the generations. Okay? The same way, religiously they say the devil, he was cast down to earth. Now, if you look at what Lucifer means the bearer of light or the bringer of light. It doesn't mean anything negative and evil and hateful like they have tried to convince us that it means. It actually means light. It's not a bad thing. Right? At all. Like, not even a little bit. So when they say he was cast down, Because remember what was Lucifer trying to do in the beginning of the Bible in Genesis, when he went and slid up on Adam and Eve? He had them eat from the tree of what? Knowledge. Age of Aquarius. Information. Knowledge. He was trying to get them to educate themselves so that they can wake up to whatever the fuck was going on and see it for the truth of what it was. God gave Adam and Eve all of this land and all of this stuff, but said, hey, don't eat from this specific tree, the tree of knowledge. Out of all things, it was a tree of knowledge. Don't eat from that one. Now you can go over here and you can do everything else that you want to do. It doesn't matter. Right? Now, let's go even further. What does the snake represent? Because they said Lucifer showed up as a serpent. And really, the Bible doesn't even detail that the serpent was Lucifer. It doesn't say that. So that's just an assumption on Christians' part. But the Bible never says that snake was actually Lucifer. It never says that. But anywho, what does a snake represent? If you know anything about Kundalini energy, you understand that it is represented by the cobra or the serpent, right? Now, why is it represented by the serpent? It's shaped like this, correct? And if you look at your spine from a side view, it's shaped just like this. You have 33 vertebrae. How old was Jesus when he passed away? 33. You got 33 vertebrae. And then the Kundalini, once it comes up your entire spine, it goes to the front of your head, which is your what? Your third eye chakra. That's what Kundalini energy is. It goes up from your root chakra or the base of your spine through all 33 vertebrae. This is also why what's the right way to word it? Because I don't want them to try to flag my video. This is also why the quote-unquote powers that be are obsessed with the number 33. Now, Nikola Tesla have already came and told us the power of 3, 6, and 9. Go do your research on Nikola Tesla. He already done told us the power of 3, 6, and 9. And he wasn't the one who discovered that. Our ancestors discovered that. How do we know? Look at the pyramids. The pyramids are physical representations of 3, 6, and 9. So that energy travels up the 33 vertebrae and it hits your pineal gland. When your pineal gland is activated, it secretes this serum, whatever you want to call it, right? That allows you to transcend this physical form and tap further into the spiritual realm. This is why they do things to calcify our pineal gland. Through what? Fluoride is one of the biggest ones. Now, where's fluoride commonly found in? Water. It's commonly found in toothpaste. Things that deal with the mouth, things that you have to use every day. They put it in food. Right? These things are calcifying your pineal gland, or basically creating blockages. So this is why a lot of people are not able to see within the spiritual realm, because they have a calcified pineal gland. Now, the difference between us melanated beings and those who are not melanated is they come into the world with a blocked pineal gland. They come into this realm with the calcified pineal gland because they are not the original people. So when we were cast down here, same story as Lucifer, cast down to a lower vibration to be the rulers of this land, right? It was basically prison, if you really think about it, because it doesn't matter how much you get in this life. If you're really tapped in and if you have reawakened, you're never going to be satisfied being here. And a lot of people who wake up, a lot of people who come back into spirituality, you feel like you're not from here anyway. And honestly can't wait to go back to where you are from. Not saying that you know, excited to pass away, but you excited to go back home, or you know intuitively that this is not your home, that you are not from here, that this is not the place that you're supposed to be long term. Now, a lot of us have made it out of this realm. We learned our lesson in another lifetime, but we chose to come back here in order to help wake up the collective, in order to free our people, in order to help our people transition. So when they get to that point where they are at the end of their life, they know how to navigate that space and not come back here. This is why we pass things down within the generation. Now, the amazing thing about the structure of our physical body is it is in alignment with who we are spiritually. What does that mean? Through the woman is the only way you can enter this realm, right? Now, the beautiful thing about the womb that I always talk about is just like the brain has memory tissue, the womb has memory tissue. Which means that your womb, as a woman, remembers things. Whether it's remembering something that you went through, or whether it's remembering something that generations before you experienced. Now, this can be a positive thing. It's supposed to be a positive thing, because that was the way for us to pass down the knowledge and the information through the generations. Right? To store it in our womb, which is our sacral chakra, and be able to pass it down when we give birth to the next generation, so that they can have the inner knowledge. This is when you get into things that you just know. It's like, I don't know how I know it, I just know it. The same way generational curses are now passed down. So these people understood the power of our wombs. This is why even in present day, they don't want us to reproduce. Because the more we reproduce, the more of a chance it is that the future generations are going to come back into the intellectual knowledge of who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. So they don't want us to have no more babies. Not only that, but it increases our numbers. Now, we already are the majority. They had to convince us that we were the minority, even though it's evident that it's more of us than it is of them. I mean, that's just obvious. Every single country, every single place in this world had black people there first. Don't matter where you go. Every continent, Australia, Asia, South America, North America, Europe, Africa, Antarctica. It's always black people. No matter where you go in this world, we have always been there first. But they had to do psycho. They had to mess with our psyche to convince us that we were the minority in order to gain control. When you can't control a person physically, because we're physically stronger, it just is what it is. The women included. Black women are some of the most physically strong women on this planet. Melanated women are the strongest people on this planet. And when I'm talking about strength, I don't mean picking up something that's heavy. I mean strength. We can take more physical pain than anybody. And they know that, which is why when we go to hospitals, they don't want to give us pain medication, things of that nature. They understand who we are. Even though we may need it, they don't want to give it to us, because they already understand that we have the upper hand. We have we benefit. So they don't want to give us the extras. They mad about that. That's why they'll offer more pain meds to other races than they do us. Because they're like, fuck it, you already strong enough. You can survive. And look at how we do survive, right? Without these things. Even though we should have some of these things to take the edge off, we don't really need it in order to survive. If you look at the statistics when it comes to premature babies, melanated premature children survive more. We have a higher rate of survival. Melanated women have a higher rate of survival when it comes to birth, childbirth. It just is what it is. It is in our DNA. It is in the fibers of our being. Our strength is in the fibers of our being. There's nothing you can do with it. We have melanin on our side. Melanin is the conduit of pure energy. That's basically what it is. If you think about melanin as being the thing that holds that energy in, the best explanation of melanin that I always give is, if y'all remember Black Panther, right? And he had a suit, and that suit was made of vibranium. They have to tell you in movies, right? But they got to change the name so that you be thrown off. But they were trying to tell you about who you was in the goddamn Black Panther. Okay? That vibranium suit did what? It collected energy. So if somebody was to punch him, it absorbed it into the suit so that he can then transmute that energy and use it to either punch back or to do something else. If somebody shot him with an energy ray or some electricity, it absorbed within the suit so that he can again use it for something else. That's the same thing your melanin does. Your melanin absorbs the energy and it stores it so that you are able to then transmute it and use it as something else. They understand that we are energetic beings. That's why all of the things that they attack us in deal with pure energy. Like what? Frequencies. What are we known for the most in this world as melanated people? Specifically as Black American people. Music. Dancing. Right? We are the most known. Black Americans have created more music genres than any other race, than any other ethnicity, on this planet. So what they did was they understood that we collect energy and that we store it and that we then use what we stored to do other things in our life. So they said, okay, we're going to start attacking them through their own music and have their own people sing the damn music, play the music, whatever. So this is why they had that meeting in the 90s to manipulate the music, to start making it more vulgar, more negative, more low vibrational. Because if you think about the creation of our music, it was never vulgar and negative. It was uplifting, it was therapeutic, it was inspirational, it was high vibrational. It was about love and relationship and things of that nature. Right? And then as time went on, the whole, intention behind the music shifted. We went from inspirational music about love and family and connections and things of that nature to shooting and unaliving and drugs and sex and money, low vibrational things. And with that, the mentality of our people started to also change because they were absorbing that energy. So we got more violent towards each other. We got more hypersexual. We got distracted. So it's almost like programming a people to go against themselves because they knew that they weren't strong enough to take us on. So the only way that we can get you guys to be eliminated is to help you eliminate yourself. Because then you're on an even playing field. If you are eliminating yourself, it's an even playing field. If we're trying to eliminate you, they're starting down here and we're up here. It's just not going to work. It's not going to happen. That's why in the 60s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, they was trying to push this whole integration thing. Oh, let's all come together. Let's integrate. Let's come together. And they use the manipulation and the poison of religion to back that up. Jesus said, turn the other cheek. You gotta love everybody in order to make it to heaven. You gotta love your enemy. How the fuck would I need to love my enemy? That doesn't even make that doesn't even make logical sense. Why would I love an enemy? That makes no sense. Why would I have love for somebody, care for somebody, empathy for somebody, sympathy for somebody who has a job to destroy me? Right? Even the whole story of slavery. A lie. A lot of people that they call slaves were being paid to do what they was doing. They had to rewrite that shit to, again, mentally make you feel like you come from people who are weak, who are able to be captured and taken and beaten and this and that. Not saying it didn't happen to some people, but for the majority, it was millions of us over here minding our black ass business before they even came over here trying to fuck with us. Millions. I really want y'all to understand that. How do you think millions of people just disappear? They tried to convince us that they brought diseases over here and it killed off all of these people. How you gonna kill off all of us and we practice herbal medicine? From the beginning of time, we were herbalists. We understood that the things that we needed to heal our body grew from the ground. We didn't have to pay nobody for it or nothing like that. How do you think that you can come over here with whatever disease you had and we weren't strong enough, intelligent enough to combat that with some type of herb? That doesn't even make sense. We were too powerful for that. So when you can't get somebody physically, because they knew they couldn't take us on physically, right? They had to tap into our magic. And they couldn't perform our magic because the deities and, you know, they just didn't have the power. Again, that pineal gland was calcified for them. So they didn't have the power to tap into the spiritual realm and do all of these things. So you had to convince a certain group of people, right, that were easily manipulated. This is when you get into the Moors, the people who sold us out. Sold, S-O-U-L-E-D, sold us out, that started to do work on their behalf, or the same way that they use quote unquote black people now in politics to drive us as a nation to do what they want us to do. Same thing back then. No new tricks, nothing is new under the sun. They've been doing the same shit. They've been doing the same shit. Nothing is new. They put a black person in front of us, and because that person looked like us, we were convinced that they were a part of us. Same mentality. But that's why we got the saying, all kinfolk, all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. Everybody that look like you ain't for you. Period. So they didn't have the power to take us on. They didn't. And if you look up slavery, or you look up people coming, them bringing boats over here of millions of black people from Africa, and they brought them over here, ask yourself questions like this. If there were already millions of people here, millions of melanated people here, why would you need to go travel months on a boat? Months on a boat. Okay, which within itself don't even make sense, because you cannot transport hundreds of thousands of people on a boat for months and not feed them. not give them a proper place to use the bathroom, infections alone would have took out most of them people on the boat. Like, what are we talking about? Bacteria alone from people going to the bathroom within those confined spaces would have took most of them people out. They wouldn't have made it across all of that water for that amount of time. That doesn't even make sense. Logically, we can use basic logic. You don't have to be no scientist to understand that. Breathing in the fumes of urine and feces for 4 to 6 months with no food or water. First of all, when them people, if let's say they all made it, by the time they made it to America, they wouldn't have been strong enough to do a fuck ass thing. So you trying to convince me that you nursed them back to health? That don't even make sense. We gotta use logic. We are too intelligent of a people. You telling me once they got here, you fed them real good and fattened them back up? Come on now. The same people who didn't know how to crop, the same people that we had to teach how to crop, how to produce from the ground, how to till the soil and do what you need to do in order to grow food. Them the people that nursed us back to health when we got off the damn boats. It does not make sense. If you, every picture that you look up, you can type it in right now. Slave ships bringing black people to America. It's all photographs that somebody drew. It's drawings and paintings. There is no physical pictures of them bringing anybody over here. But if you look up white people coming to America, there are physical pictures of thousands of white people on boats coming over here. So who came on boats for real? Who really was on the boats? I dare you to go Google right now. You can swipe up if you got an iPhone. You can swipe up while I'm still talking. Go to your Safari, type in Caucasian people on boats coming to America. You're gonna see physical black and white pictures of real people. And then I want you to type in slave ships coming to America. It's all paintings and drawings and you know, created pictures. No real pictures. And before people say, oh, they ain't had no camera back then, they ain't had no photography back then. Yes, they did. They sure did. That shit didn't happen a long time ago. It wasn't thousands of years ago. Do you know the type of equipment, the type of things that we had, the type of technology we had at that point? That's another way that they play with your mind. They put everything in black and white to try to convince you that that shit was so long ago. I used to be in school, and y'all know when we used to learn about history, and they would show Martin Luther King and all these people, and all the pictures would be in black and white. Why the fuck was pictures from the 60s and the 50s in black and white, but they got whole pictures from the 1800s and the 1700s? Hell, some people got pictures from the 1600s. So why the fuck is Dr. King in black and white? That's manipulation. To make you think that this shit happened so long ago. It didn't happen a long time ago. Some of our grandparents was born in the 40s. And they got colored pictures. I know y'all done went to grandmama's house and seen some of them old photo albums and photo books. They got colored pictures. Some of us got pictures of our ancestors from the early 1900s, and the pictures are in color. You can see the detail, the colors of their shirt, the colors of their outfit, the colors of their skirts, and they pants and shoes. You can see if they were lighter skin or if they were darker skin. You can see their complexion. You can see their eye color. You can see the details. So if we got pictures in color of our people from the 30s and the 20s and the late 1800s, why the fuck is Dr. King in black and white? Why is, Rosa Parks in black and white? Why is Malcolm X in black and white? And that shit happened in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. You gotta start asking yourself logical questions. They don't like you to be educated. They don't like you to use logic. That's why they created this school system. And they said, if you learn anything outside of this school system, outside of what we taught you, it's false. It's a fallacy. Well, how the fuck is that true? The education system was created in the 1920s to indoctrinate people and to tell you his story. That's why they named it his story. It's not our story. It's his story. And we take history classes. And you got people who are masters and got bachelors. Again, masters. What did the slaves, quote unquote, call them people? The master. You get a master's degree. Etymology. We got to pay attention to the words that they're using. You go get your master's degree. The degree that your master wants you to have. And if you do not have that, or if you're not a part of their education system, they have formulated the world to look at you as uneducated. Lack of knowledge, ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about because you don't got no degree. You don't got no piece of paper with a seal on it. Okay? To seal something is to encase in. Right? You don't have a master's degree. You don't have a piece of paper with a little seal on it to tell you that you know what you know. All of it was by design. All of it was purposeful. All of it was to distract us from who we are. Then they started to give people religion. Trying to convince people of another story. Not the truth of what it was. Because you can't go to no pyramid, or you can't go in none of these older temples and see anything that has anything to do with religion. Nothing. You're not going to find religion in none of these historic temples. None of these ancient temples. You can't go in the pyramids and see nothing about Jesus or none of them other people. It's not in there. And these people were creating these pyramids thousands of years ago. You're not going to find that in there. But you are going to find the sun, the moon. You are going to see ancient beings depicted on these walls and these temples. Or what they call aliens. People with different shaped head. Really, really tall people. You're going to see blue people or green people. Right? Now, even the green, the depiction of people being green. When you wear copper, because if we go back to the writings of Christopher Columbus and a lot of other people who, recorded different information during that time, they called us copper-colored people. What happens to copper when you wear it for a while? When it gets wet, it starts to turn green. Because it's oxidizing and it's bringing out the green pigment in your copper-colored skin. Which lets us know we are no different from them people that were depicted. They called us indigo people because some of us were so dark that we looked blue. We had absorbed so much melanin. This is why when you spend time in the sun, you get darker. Your pigment gets darker because your melanin is absorbing the energy and storing it into your cells. Right? What is the breakdown of carbon? Carbon is basically what it is. 666. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. 666. That's carbon. We are carbonated beings. So the more energy we soak up, the darker we get, which is our carbon being activated. That's why we get darker. Carbon is dark. It's darkness. That's why we love the summertime, because we get to be outside, and you don't understand why you feeling so much energy and why you feeling good within your system, because you are collecting that energy from the source, which is the sun. Everything that is living collects energy from the sun. Now, who are the people that don't collect energy from the sun, or in return are unalived by the sun? It's only melanated beings that benefit from that sun. And other things that are living, plants, their process is called photosynthesis. We have similar DNA to plants. I think it's only one molecule that is different between us and plants. But we go through the same similar process of collecting the energy from the sun in order to fuel ourselves, in order to run the body. This is why when we don't spend time in the sun, we get depressed. We get low vibrational. This is why they came up with cloud seeding and manipulating the weather. And they put all these clouds in front of the sun, especially when there's something monumental happening as far as astrology. Anytime we have an astrological event, I want you to pay attention to the clouds outside. Specifically, also when we get around things like the winter solstice or the spring equinox or the summer solstice or equinox. When we get into those different areas, they start fucking around with the clouds and making rain and you know, making it snow. Y'all understand that this realm did not produce no fucking snow. There's no need for snow. We are not cold-blooded creatures. We don't need no goddamn snow, and we don't survive in cold climates. We are warm-blooded people. We are sun gods. So we don't need no damn snow, and we didn't come from nobody's cave. Period. So, the manipulation of the weather, making us go through winter cycles. One of the most important cycles that we go through is the winter solstice. What is the winter solstice? That's when the sun, going back to religion, the sun reaches its lowest point. It reaches its lowest point, and it stays there for 3 days. That sounds similar, don't it? There's another sun that quote unquote died and stayed there for 3 days too. Wonder where they got that from. I told y'all that book is about astrology. On the 3rd day, it rises back up and starts making this new transition. Sounds similar. Because on the 3rd day, somebody else rose and then went to heaven. Okay. Things that make you go, On the 21st of December is the beginning of the winter solstice. On the 25th of December is when the sun starts to rise again. What do we do on the 25th? What distraction have they set up for the 25th? So that you're not paying attention to the energy that is going on around you. Distractions. They make it snow. They make it cold outside. So you're not in the sun. Because the sun is very powerful during that time. So we should be spending a lot of time outside during that time. But they making it snow in certain places. Having all these weather issues. All during the time where we should be outside soaking up that energy. Then they manipulated the start of the new season. They got people celebrating the start of the new season in the dead time, when things are dead. January 1st, they've convinced you is the start of a new year. Nothing is even alive in January. The trees don't got no leaves on them. The ground is hard. You can't plant nothing, grow nothing, do nothing. Why are you celebrating a new beginning when ain't nothing around you new? That's the purpose of the spring equinox. The spring equinox is your new beginning. Because things are springing. There is life form being created. The trees start, bare leaves again. The plants start to grow again. Everything has to go through a cycle of death and rebirth. Period. But we don't celebrate rebirth when things are dead. You celebrate rebirth when things are being renewed, reborn again, growing again. Right? So this is why Aries is the first zodiac. Aries season is not in January. Aries season is not in January. It is at the end of March. Specifically between March 19th to March 21st, which is the start of Aries season. The new beginning. So instead of us celebrating that new beginning in the season of new beginnings, they got you celebrating new beginnings in a season where things are dead. Meaning you should be resting. You should be rejuvenating your energy. You should be taking time for yourself. You shouldn't be trying to start nothing new during a season where things are supposed to be dead or ending or cycles are being completed. That's not a time to celebrate new. This is why people can't hold on to whatever New Year's resolutions that they create during that time. If you think about a New Year's resolution, it's usually people start that shit. They may do it for like a couple days. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of time. Maybe not even a couple days. Sometimes it's just a day. And they back to doing the same shit that they've been doing. Because the energy is not conducive for you to be trying to do some whole new shit. That's a time for you to be resting your energy. So I broke it down and I have a whole astrology guide for 2024 on my website. It's only $8. It's an ebook. But I break all of this down. So from Aries season to Gemini season, that is your time to plant seeds. That is your new beginning, your new energy. That is the springtime. A lot of people don't think of June as being spring, but summer doesn't start until the end of June. From the end of March to the end of June is springtime. So Aries Taurus, Gemini, that's spring. That's your time to plant seeds. That's your time to start things new. Then from Cancer, Leo, Virgo season, or the end of June to the end of September, that is your watering season. That's the time to water what you planted. Invest into what you planted. Do the work, right? If you think of Cancer energy is very social, very out and about, family oriented, getting things done. Leo energy is all about confidence, right? Virgo energy is about organization, paying attention to details. That's watering time. That's time to invest in what you started, to get deeper into what you started. Then we have what we call the harvest season. Okay? That's Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. That's your harvest season. AKA the end of September to the end of December. Harvest. That's why they have Thanksgiving during that season. That's why they have Christmas during that season. It's a celebratory season. It's the time to receive the fruits of your labor. So it's like I plant my seed, I water my seed, now my seed is sprouting. It's producing fruit. It's producing flowers. It's budding. I can go and collect the things off of that tree that I planted now because I've been watering it and I've been doing what I was supposed to do. Now I can harvest it. And then from Capricorn to Pisces, that's your time to rest. That is what we call hibernation season. That's a resting period. That's the time to, Capricorn. Capricorn represents discipline, right? Hard work, things like that, right? Then you have Aquarius. Aquarius is all about, open-mindedness, thinking outside of the box. So while you resting, you thinking about what you want to do next. Okay, I done had a good year. Now let's figure out what I want to do next. How do I need to reposition myself so I can be ready for this new season? Right? Pisces, the sign of dreams and intuition. Let me dream. Let me tap into my intuition and see what I need to be getting, how I need to be preparing myself for this new year, how I need to be getting myself together for this new year. What lessons have I learned, or what lessons do I need to learn? Capricorn energy. What boundaries do I need to set up? Capricorn energy, Saturn energy. And then you start again. When Aries comes, you go back into that new season of planting those seeds. So it's a cycle that we go through, and it's not based on the months of the year. Stop looking at the year through the months and start looking at them through the zodiac. It will make so much more sense to you. Don't look at it as the month. Don't do that. It's going to throw you off. It's going to put you in the mentality of your oppressor. Don't look at the months. Fuck the months. The months don't mean shit. The months don't mean shit. They are here to confuse you. If you need it written out for you, again, I got an $8 ebook where I explain all of this shit. It's called Mastering 2024. It's on my website. My website is linked in my bio. Once you submit your $8, it will be emailed to you immediately. But go look into that. When you start to master the zodiacs, because again, everything is astrology. Everything is astrology and numerology. That's it. It's numbers and energy. That's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. Numbers and energy. Aries is 1. Taurus is 2. Aries is ruled by Mars. That's leadership, taking initiative, right? 1 energy, big leader. 2s is what? Partnership. right? Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of what? Love, partnership, working with others, loving on others. 3 is balance. That's Gemini. Balance what? The twins. It's balance. Twins. It also represents the structure, which is what? Intellect, knowledge, communication. Then you have 4s. 4s represent what? Stability, foundation. That's Cancer. Cancer represents the family. Then you have 5. That's Leo. 5 represents what? Change, confidence. We can go on and on. 6, Virgo. Virgo's discipline, getting things in order, structure, organization, details. 7, Libra. Justice. 8, Scorpio. Scorpio represents what? Transition, transformation, death and rebirth. 9 would be Sagittarius. Sagittarius represents adventure, luck, abundance, ups and downs, Jupiter energy. You have 10, which is Capricorn. Capricorn is all about hard work, discipline, lessons, boundaries. Then you have 11, which is Aquarius. Aquarius is originality, open-mindedness, flexibility, knowledge, information. And then, of course, 12, Pisces. Pisces represents what? The dream realm, the spiritual space, intuition, illusions, numbers, and astrology. When you start mastering numerology and you master astrology, listen, that's all you need. All you need in this world to sin is numerology and astrology. It's all you need. That's why I've been getting y'all more into astrology. That's why we do our astrological breakdowns. That's why we do all of this. So I've been doing all of this with y'all, because we're moving more into that space where those things are the most important. All that other bullshit is not important no more. The illusions, again, we're not in Pisces energy no more. So all the illusions and the fluff to make you think that you got some shit that you don't, to make you think that you good when you not, we out of that. Now we dealing with reality, but also the open-mindedness of Aquarius. So that's why I've been telling y'all, this season requires you to be open-minded and flexible. It requires you to be original. We're moving into a whole new world. And you have an opportunity to create the structure that the future world is going to be built off of. You have an opportunity to do that through the work that you're doing, through you being original and tapping into who you are. Not concerned about people's opinions, not concerned about what people have to say, none of that. What is my intuition telling me to do? What is the information and the knowledge that I'm accumulating guiding me towards? That's what you need to be focused on. Okay? Y'all got something from this? I hope y'all got something from this. If you want to watch this from the beginning, I will be posting this on YouTube later on tonight. It will go live later on tonight. So definitely tap in, tune in for that if you want to watch it from the beginning. I do have specials that are available today. I'm still doing reading specials. I'm doing consultation specials. If you are interested in any of those, feel free to inbox me and I will send you all of the pricing and all of that. If you're interested in that ebook, click the link in my bio. Go to my website under books. in literature, click that and you should see it. It is called Mastering 2024. It will give you a whole breakdown of the year. Remember, the new year starts in March, so you still have several months to take advantage of this energy. It's not over in January, so you still got time. 2024 does not end until March. Okay, so take advantage of that energy, take advantage of that information. There's also some shadow work books on there, chakra alignment books. I mean, all types of things that I've written that Spirit has given me to write for the collective, so that you guys can use it and tap in. Okay, again, if you're interested in any of the specials, feel free to inbox me. The specials are not on my website, but if you do go on my website and you see any other services that you're interested in, feel free to book those as well. Okay, if you got anything from this and you want to bless the Cash App, it is right here. All of my information is right there. Other than that, light and love. I will be back on here tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do a reading. Yeah, we'll do a reading tomorrow since I did this today. I did do a reading for the day already, and that's on YouTube as well. So make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube so that you can watch the reading that I did earlier, and get that information, because it's a lot of confirmation in there as well. Also tune into the reading that we did yesterday. That's also on YouTube. Anytime you miss anything on TikTok, it will always be posted to YouTube. Okay, now the live that I did last night, for those who was tuned in for that one will be posted on Friday.